Hi guys, welcome back to the Limitless Tech Pod. So, as you can tell from my voice, we have again woken up really early on a Saturday morning to do this for you guys. So, welcome back to another episode. We have a lot of interesting topics ahead. So let's get started. Hi Akash.
Hi Zed, and thank you for this wonderful intro. And we have indeed woken up really early for this episode because yes, consistency matter, and because we need to upload this every 2 weeks.
I hope I don't sleep again, fall asleep again now.
No, not you won't sleep because our topics for today are very interesting.
That we have prepared our script.
Okay, prepared a
Prepared our
script.
script. I think we need to think a lot to stay awake.
Yeah, we'll automatically stay awake. I know. I'm pretty confident about it.
So I can see that it's really cold there.
Yes, it is. It is. Even actually, the thing is, I am wearing sweater or I am wearing this jacket for the whole day during the noon also, and my fan is switched off.
Oh, okay.
It is really cold here.
It's cold here
So
also, but
yes,
after,
you need to show your
yes,
tattoos and
yes.
your
No,
biceps.
I don't
Yes.
need to show my tattoos because I don't have any anymore. But it's okay. Afterwards, I'll get a cold. That's okay.
We need to make some sacrifices for YouTube, right? We need to do that.
Right. Chalo, let's get started.
Okay. Um, so what's first? You are going to navigate this episode, so I'm letting you decide what topic to talk about first.
For those who don't know, Oppo recently just launched their first foldable smartphone, Oppo Find N, and we have some thoughts about it, just like every other tech YouTuber and tech enthusiast, because this is an interesting device and it did come out late, other than I mean later than other foldables, but it has a purpose and it has a really great purpose.
We have a new foldable boy in town, and Samsung's got competition. According to the reviews, according to the pictures, the form factor, and all the according to the specs, those are some flagship specs, and Samsung's got competition. That's all I can say. In the whole summary is the Samsung's got competition now, and it needs to buckle up really hard and make new, uh, amazing and better foldable.
Actually. And see, remember last in one of our previous episodes, we talked about that we will go ahead and we'll try out a foldable ourselves.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
did,
yeah.
I did that actually. I did try out Z Flip because it did seem interesting to me because it turns into a really small form factor and you can carry it around easily. Uh, so I really understood why foldables are still struggling in the market because see, first of all, I mean that crease is so prominent that each time you scroll through the UI, you feel it. Whenever you're watching content, you see it. It's there.
Yeah, yeah.
And the fact that foldables are still so expensive that just because of that folding feature, they have to compromise on other flagship features. So, and they come at a really high price. So that is one thing where foldables are still lagging. And there is also one more thing that I noticed was that this folding thing, I mean, foldable should be a feature. I mean, it felt less of a phone and more of like a foldable. So I think, I mean, foldable should be like, it should be more of a flagship phone, and then folding should be a feature of it. But it
Okay, it should be an extension of a
extension of a
smartphone, of
smartphone.
already perfect
Exactly,
smartphone.
exactly. But it really felt to me that this phone was all about folding and not about doing daily activities. And it had some struggles with it, and also there were I mean, forget about the learning curve that it has. But I could really see that crease that it's there. So, and the fact that you always have to keep in mind that you don't put it the other way in your pocket because otherwise it will fold out. You always have to keep
Yeah.
it with the crease inside your pocket so that it does not fold out accidentally. So that is, it's still not that comfortable. But I think what Oppo has aimed here for is to aim at this basic feature. that
Hmm.
crease that everyone notices on any foldable Samsung, or there are other foldables also like the Motorola and other stuff. But that crease they have really gotten rid of, and I think this crease is not that prominent, which is on the Samsung ones. So I think this is one of the best things that they focused on in this Oppo Find N.
Yeah, yeah. Although they have claimed these are not flagship specs, but in if we compare the flagship specs that we have in India, it has flagship specs, and it doesn't come at that much of a higher cost. It comes at around $1,500, right? fifteen
Right,
hundred US
right.
dollars, and it's a Chinese phone. And if at all it is coming to, it won't come to
It
India because
won't.
Find N is
China,
China
yeah.
exclusive. But in some point in future, if Oppo decides to launch that Find N, or some iteration of it in Indian markets, and in markets around across the world, I think that would be a profitable deal for Indians, because as it's a Chinese smartphone, the conversion and the price we have to pay for around $1,500 would be much less than what we pay for, I think, Samsung, and what we would pay for Apple,
Right,
right? And while having the flagship features, while having all the features, and also a foldable smartphone. And the form factor, I've noticed that it is still smaller, height wise it is smaller than and a mini iPhone.
right, exactly, yeah.
And obviously it's wider than that, but still compromises have to be made at some point, because it has a 5.5 inches, around approximately 5.5 inches screen at the front.
Right,
And it when it opens up, it is around 7.1 inches, right?
right, yeah. So it is still small, yeah. It is still small even
Yeah,
after folding up, but it's just more than like just enough to even carry around.
yeah, yeah. I think this would be a good buy, if at all Oppo decides to launch some of its iterations in the future in Indian markets. I think it would give a boost to what Indians think about foldable consumables.
Hmm.
Okay, for foldable phones, because only elite and only rich people have the foldable phones right now. So what if Oppo manages to reduce its cost somehow, and get a grip in Indian market? I think that would be a great thing for Indians. And it will actually enable Indians to try out new things, because now there are two types of smartphones. One is slab like we have our normal phones, and one is foldables. So these foldable have managed to make their new category in itself, and that is a very good thing to look forward to, actually.
Right. But there is one thing. I mean, the way they got rid of that crease is because they could fold it in a like teardrop shape instead of directly folding it like the Z Fold does. So
Yeah.
that gives a bit of a different shape to it when it folds. Like for the Z, for example, Z Flip. It's still like a cubical like structure when you fold it. I mean, it's straight, but this Oppo Find N, it has a teardrop structure at the end, so it looks kind of weird when you fold it.
I don't think it has a teardrop kind of shape, because when the fold Z Fold folds, okay, you get a pun there, right?
Hmm.
When the Z Fold folds, it we can see some light coming through from the other side of the device, if we see like this. But in Find N, we don't get to see any light. That means it closes completely,
Right.
one end on the other and one part on the other. It actually closes completely in half. We don't have that gap in
Gap in
between.
between. Exactly.
So I think that is a good thing, because folding phones are more prone to getting damaged because of dust and all these things. So the lesser the gap, the lesser the dust will be
Accumulated.
getting in.
Hmm.
So that is, I think, a good thing.
Right. Right. But did you notice that once you fold it, the screen that you will actually use as a smartphone is 60 hertz, and inside
Yeah,
in the tablet
yeah,
it's
yeah.
120 hertz. So why do you think Oppo would have gone for a 60 hertz main display and the tablet display is 120 hertz?
I think just to preserve battery life, because this is a first generation phone.
Right, right, exactly.
And all the first generation phones have its own quirks and features. Okay, and they are still experimenting. And even Samsung Galaxy Fold 2 had a 60 hertz display on the front side, and then if at all we unfold it and we come inside, then we had a 120 hertz display. So yes, it is a quirk, it is a shortcoming, it is where the Oppo Find N is lagging. But I think future iteration, when it gets launched at the world stage, when it gets launched worldwide, I think that would have the smaller display will have a 120 hertz display.
Right. And as part of lagging, if we say, as it's only there in China, it's still not optimized for Google services, right? So it has a lot of optimizations to do, and I think it really looks like a first gen foldable, and it is from Oppo. Even though we have other foldables, it's still a first gen, and it does feel like a first gen foldable. But the only thing is that they have made improvements in the crease of it, like so that it does not feel like a foldable, just like other Samsung or other Motorola phones do. But the thing about foldables, even the Z Flip 3, I noticed is that you can't really unflip it with one hand. You have to use both the hands. So it's still, I mean, even third generations down the line, it's still not normalized that much as it should have been, even after third generations. But I think because of this Oppo Find N, I think Samsung would get some a big push with it. And I think in the next generation of foldables, we might see some better improvements, especially with the folding feature. I mean, the
Yeah.
more it gets close to a feature, I think I would really, be inclined to buy a foldable, because as of now, that learning curve is really high. It's just like a luxury.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I'm very optimistic about Oppo. Some future iteration of this phone coming to India and the other countries, because the way they have marketed it, and the way they have given its review unit to each and every YouTuber out there, uh, shows that they want to create a hype around the device.
Right.
And then once the hype is created, once people like us start talking about it, and normal people would see that this is an amazing device, and we would get it as a reasonable at a reasonable rate. I think this would generate a hype around the device, and then it will start selling in India and in other markets, which will give its sales a boost.
Right. And I think at that point, we'll actually start to think about the basic features like battery life. Because now we don't even think about it. I mean, it's a foldable. So not many people ask, like, what's the battery life of it? But yeah, as tech reviewers, they do show the battery life and all. But that's not the first thing that comes to our mind, because the camera, the battery life, and all that. So talking about battery life. Let's jump to the battery health on the iPhone 12 devices. iPhone 12, Apple Watch SE, Apple Watch Series 6, all the devices that launched in 2020, uh, reports have been coming in, and I personally have noticed the battery health is really bad. Like in just 1 year, we lost about 4% of battery health. In all my Apple Watch SE, my iPhone 12, I can see that the battery health is now 96%. So which was not that worse of a case in the older iPhone devices like iPhone. If you see iPhone 10R, iPhone 11, they have at least for, till 2 years they had good battery health. But
Yeah,
now
yeah.
starting from iPhone 12, I think there is something with the battery or with the software optimization or something, or it is probably just with the fast charging. Something is really degrading the battery health on Apple devices. So what do you think on this?
I think it is not just regarding the battery life, as in usage, the amount of time for which we use a device, but also the battery health. Because I have seen that it's been exactly 1 year, 1 year and 7 days, 1 year and 8 days actually, since the day I got my Apple Watch SE. And now the battery health is at around 94, 93%.
Oh,
Actually, it is 92%. Now I remember correctly, it is 92%. So it has degraded around 8% in a year. So that hurts a lot, because
Actually.
the amount of money we spend to get an Apple Watch, and we try to future proof ourselves as much as possible by paying the higher price. And what it results into, that the battery health falls 8%, and that means it won't, in the next 2 to 3 years, if at all we are using the same Apple Watch SE at that time, at that point of time, the battery life would be around 75% in the next 2 to 3 years.
Mhm. Right.
It would get around 70 to 75%, and I am not at all happy thinking about this.
Exactly, and that is, I mean, that is why people buy Apple devices, right? To use them for a couple of years. I mean, if it was some other phone like Android phone, so we can really expect, like in a year or so, the performance would get degraded, the battery would get degraded. But Apple devices usually people buy so that they can use for at least 3 to 4 years, or even some people use 5 years. So that is something. I mean, think about a person who bought the iPhone 12 mini last year. That person
Yeah,
would be, I
yeah.
mean, just one year later, that person, I mean, I think that person does not have an option other than upgrading, I mean, his or her phone, because the battery life was already so less on that phone, and the battery health dropping again I don't think that phone would even last a day now. So that person really would need to upgrade or buy another iPhone now in just after just 1 year.
Either upgrade or replace a battery, replace the whole battery in every 2 years, I think.
Right, but so is that covered under warranty?
It does not. It is not.
So new phone.
The funny thing about the battery health of 2020 Apple devices have been, uh, as soon as the design changes came, iPhone got its redesign, like the iPhone 4, iPhone 5 form factor, and the edges got like whole straighten up. Because of that, I think the battery, the size of the battery was lesser than what it was generation prior, and iPhone 11s, 11 Pros. So because of that, the battery life was supposed to be lesser than its previous generation, but not at this cost, because we have less battery life in our day to day usage. That is okay, that is acceptable still. But if the battery health is getting deteriorated that quickly,
Right.
yes, that might be because, as you have mentioned, because of the fast charging. Because the faster we charge, the faster the phone will get discharged as well.
But kudos to Apple, they actually address this by increasing the battery size at least on the iPhone 13 models. So even if the battery health would degrade in a year, so it would not impact that much because the capacity itself is improved. So they did address this a bit, but I think the battery health should not have been that worse, because the people who bought Apple devices in the year 2020 are actually noticing it and reporting it, but they can't really do much about it now. Uh, I mean, other
Yeah,
than getting the battery replaced or buying a new device itself altogether. So that is a bit of a bummer.
bro, I think it's fine for the iPhones, but what about the Apple Watch? Can we replace the battery in Apple Watch?
I mean, I wouldn't go ahead and do that. I mean, at least for the SE, because I mean, that is one thing. Apple Watch is supposed to be like a basic thing. I mean, battery should not be like a concern. So I wouldn't really recommend doing that. And by the way, I have made a video on improving the battery. I mean, preserving your battery health. So do watch that. We'll put somewhere in the card above or in the description.
It will be in the link below the like button, and also in the card at the end of the
So
video.
you can use those tips and tricks, I could say, to at least do some preservation on the battery health, so that at least comparatively you get a better battery health than other people.
Yeah, and you know what can increase your chances of your battery not getting degraded as soon as it is getting. Keep the charge between 20 and 80%.
Exactly. Yeah, let them watch my video.
Okay, okay. I won't spoil your video, but I have been
Okay,
following the
but this
same
is the
trick
basic
as
rule.
soon as I learned
Exactly. Yeah.
about it. Yeah, yeah. But what people think is we should charge our phone as less as possible, and we shouldn't overcharge it, or we shouldn't charge it quite often. But actually keeping that battery health between 20 to 80% will actually ensure that your battery stays healthy for a long time.
Exactly. Battery preservation. So the summary is that the lithium batteries that Apple devices come with, they have limited number of charge cycles. So do not charge till 100 and do not let it drop to zero, so that the
Yeah.
charge cycle is preserved. So that is the takeaway, I guess. Now moving on to the next topic. So this is regarding smartphone camera. So recently MKBHD posted a video pointing out the way or the direction in which smartphone cameras post processing algorithm is going in. Uh, so this is actually alarming to say, because for people who use for people who use iPhone devices, or for people who use DSLRs, professional cameras, they know what it is to capture the true images, the true colors, and to retail the original details. But the way smartphone processing is going ahead with its AI is that you see, MKBHD also pointed out that in some phones, like if you're taking photos of grass, and what it does is that AI algorithm, it detects that it is grass, and if it finds a really good photo in its database of grass, it directly goes ahead and replaces that grass with it. So in the end result is astonishing for the end consumer, but it's not the actual photo what they have taken. And this is something that this post processing algorithm is doing without even asking the consumer that it's doing that. I mean,
Hmm.
like the Pixel phones, they have that option that you can, choose what you want. Like you can edit that photo in post, and you can choose if you want that better photo, or if you want that blurry image. That is fine. That is up to the consumer. But some smartphone manufacturing companies do not give that option, and what they think the best just comes out as a direct result. There is no option to select that. And one more thing that he pointed out was about Huawei phone. It can capture the moon. So
Yeah, the
yeah,
moon mode.
moon mode. Yeah. So it actually went ahead. I mean, obviously it's not official, but we always see one side of the moon, so we only know that the particular structure of the moon that we see. And so if you if you see all those people who have taken the moon's photo in that moon mode, that moon looks really similar, because somewhere it feels like they have at least some parts of it, they have enhanced and they have replaced themselves with an actual picture of the moon, or some actual pixels that they have from an actual image of the moon. So just to enhance that, just to astonish their end users, consumers, they are not giving that option and just going ahead and just replacing the entire image. So
Yeah,
what do you think
yeah.
this direction in which this post processing thing is going ahead, this AI thing?
First of all, the smartphone makers should understand that they should not put AI, like AI. The camera has AI, it has AI functions, it has AI features. They should stop putting it in the marketing of a smartphone, because this AI doesn't help much. Yes, we have seen people, they don't like the the photo taken from their smartphone to be as close to reality as possible. They want it to be beautified, well, at the processing itself. Many smartphone companies and many smartphones has this beautify feature in it, and enhance the color of the grass, as you said, or enhance the color of the sky, make the sky bluer and make the grass greener. So that's what they are doing, because people people at the base level are actually liking this feature.
Right, and I have noticed this personally also. When you show people a photo directly coming out of an iPhone, I mean, they are not much excited about it. But when people who have Xiaomi phones or Realme phones, uh, they like those photos more, because they are like out of the box. They are popped up. They are beautified. They have saturated colors. So many people, out of the box, what they get, they just like it. I mean, even though the iPhone produces true to reality colors, and later on we can go ahead and do all those stuff. Yeah,
Edit
edit
it
it in
anyway.
post.
Yeah.
but people go ahead with what comes out of the box, because not many people, I guess, prefer editing, and they just prefer something that is out of the box.
What I've seen with most Apple users, they still use those beautifying applications for camera, like B612
Yeah,
something
B2
like that.
something,
V
yeah.
B216. There's a camera app for this
Right.
beautifying and all these things. And the problem, I guess, see, this is a hard this is a hard part of the video where I'm going to speak the truth, where I am going to tell the truth, that the idea of beauty with people has changed. So they do not prefer an image which is closer to reality, like it will show your wrinkles, your dark circles, and this is why these companies who have these beautify feature are banking upon. This is what they are banking upon, because they know that the idea of beauty has changed in the whole industry, and people still want to look like celebrities, like in their photos at least,
Hmm.
not having wrinkles, not having dark circles, and all these things. That's why even iPhone users are using these beautifying apps.
Exactly. But that is okay. I mean, consumers themselves can, obviously they can choose what they like, and they can choose apps which would use those beautify filters. They can use beautify filters if they want to. But the direction that I am going with is that smartphone manufacturing companies should give a choice. They should give a feature. You should give these filters. Give us the filters. Give us, like Samsung phones. If you see, I'm not sure of the latest Samsung phones if they have these, because I did not I don't look at those features anymore. But the older Samsung phones, the S9 and all S10, all those Samsung phones, they had a separate feature for beautifying, for changing your eyes, nose, and everything. They had a separate feature for that. I mean, they gave an option to end users to do that if they want to. So giving an option is okay. I mean, that is a feature, but doing it behind your back and not telling you, replacing the entire
Hmm.
image without even telling you, and without even giving that option, that is something I think, I think smartphone manufacturing companies, with their post processing or image processing algorithm, they should like segregate it, and some parts they should give in the hands of the consumer to choose from, instead of just going ahead and directly replacing an entire image.
You know what I read yesterday on a Twitter thread, that it's about marketing, but it applies to each and every product. People will always choose a product which has more things, which has more features as default.
Hmm.
The picture that they want, the picture quality, or the beautification that they want should be set by default.
Exactly. Yeah.
They don't want to toggle with the settings and all these things. They don't want to make it complicated for them.
Right.
So that's why they tend to choose, like, beautifying these things by default and all.
Right, and not many people would actually be interested in selecting that contrast ratios, highlights to shadow ratio, and
Yeah, yeah.
details, sharpness. Not many people would be, even using those tint features, where to go, like if to make the photo more warmer or more cooler. So not many people would think so much on just editing their photo. They want something out of the box, and I think that's where many smartphones have been selling, because of the point and shoot features. And just out of the box, you get an image that you like, and you can just post directly to social media. So that is, I
Yeah.
think, what an average consumer would desire, and that's why, I mean, this is something that the smartphone manufacturing companies are making use of. That they are just because if you ask them, like exactly you rightly mentioned, people won't buy that one, because they are not really interested in doing that much hard work of on going ahead and editing that photo later on, and then spending some time on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Spending some extra time on it, basically.
What if the edit goes bad? Then you have to do that thing again,
Exactly, exactly.
all over again. Each and every step you have done, you have to do that all over again then.
So it's okay for those who are interested in editing photos or who like editing photos, but not for an average consumer, I think.
I myself don't understand the editing as much. I have managed to edit my videos because I've been doing it for the last 1 or 1.5 years. while editing the podcast, editing YouTube videos. This, yes, I can color balance, I can color correct the video. I can do that. But while color correcting the image, what I do is, even while creating a thumbnail, I go to edit mode on my iPad, and I just click on auto. It will pop some colors. It will just automatically adjust the skin tones, and it will automatically make a photo warmer or cooler according to the settings or according to the background. And after that, I edit it and make it a thumbnail of it.
So I think that's about ends our podcast for today. So that's all we had for you guys today. If you have any other topics, let us know. And I think this would probably be the our last tech pod for the year 2021. As
Yeah, yeah.
so, I think we'll see you guys directly in 2022 now,
Yeah, I think the next episode that we are going to record is on the first weekend of January, right?
as the first week of January. Yes. Are you asking me? Or-
I am not asking this on record, and I think this is one of the shortest episode that we have recorded, right?
Right, but we still managed to stretch it to more than 30 minutes.
And because we like to talk a lot, and we like to give our opinion for in the podcast. This is the good thing that I find about us talking about tech and like vibing uh, with it.
But I think 2022, just the beginning of 2022 is coming with Samsung Galaxy phones.
Yes, yes, we are looking forward to it.
We have a lot to talk about. Exactly.
Thank you guys. This was the Limitless podcast number 4, the episode 4 of this Limitless Tech Pod.
Now you messed it up.
Yeah, I did. So this was the fourth episode of the Limitless Tech Pod, and this is the last one of 2021, as Zaid rightly said. What is happening, dude? This is the last one for of 2021, and we are going to meet you in 2022, and hopefully we are going to meet. Me and Zaid are going to meet, and we are going to start doing this podcast face to face, so that we can
Yeah.
sit together and we can record. Hopefully we can do that. If the Omicron goes, that depends, but we are still hopeful for 2022, and this has been a fun
Oh
ride
my
till now.
God, please go.
I Yeah. I am hopeful that someday we'll be able to do a proper tech podcast while sitting besides each other and then talking about tech, so that we can stretch the video for a longer amount of time, and we can just uh, have fun while recording. And not that we are not having fun right now, but still, if we are sitting in person, then we have more fun.
Right, it would give a different experience also to talk face to
Yeah,
face.
yeah. And if you want us to talk about any of the tech related things and tech topics or tech news, do leave us a comment down below, so that we get to know what you guys want us to talk about, and we'll talk about in the next episode.
Sure. Thank you, guys. See you in 2022.
Thank you. Thank you. And Happy New Year, and Merry Christmas.
Peace.